From Miguel and Eli competing for the title of the strongest fighter, to a showdown between two of the most iconic villains in the Karate Kid universe. Here are some of the rematches that need to happen in Cobra Kai Season 6. Starting with Miguel versus Eli. This one started in the 5th season of the show. That too because of a hard decision that Johnny and Daniel had to make. Of course, that decision was them figuring out who the best fighter would be to represent them in one of the biggest exhibition matches against Cobra Kai. Now, the possible contenders were Miguel, Eli, and Robbie. While that is pretty cool in itself, having to make such a decision shows that the dojo has not yet figured out who its strongest fighter is. You were given the impression that Miguel was the obvious choice and the strongest fighter they had. But then Eli ended up winning the boys division of the All Valley Karate Tournament back in Season 4. So there must have been a fight between both of them to see who's really the strongest fighter, right? Why, yes, there was. Miguel straight up beat Robbie and was in the middle of a fight with Eli, with both of them being pretty even throughout. But the fight ended up with one of them getting injured. So there isn't a clear winner over here.
I think it works pretty well.
Now, Season 6 could finally put an end to this battle and show you who the strongest kid is in the show. But that is far from the only battle the upcoming season needs to resolve. You've got Johnny Lawrence versus John Kreese too. I mean, a rematch has been one of the most anticipated events in the show, with fans basically dying to see them go up against one another again. And with the end of the show, it's just bound to happen. Especially since Kreese himself has a lot of reasons for wanting to fight him, and to prove everyone once and for all who the best is. Especially since Lawrence basically tricked him into thinking that they could free him from prison. Obviously in exchange for some information on Silver. Not just that, but Kreese just escaped prison and is bound to come up against some of the good guys looking for justice. You can only hope that those good guys are Lawrence and LaRusso. Still, there's no denying that an incredible fight has already been set up. All that remains is for the show to actually deliver on it. There's also no denying that since the show is about to end, a final fight between them could bring one of the best endings to the show.
Okay, we're gonna do some karate moves. Check you later.
Button that was.
Here it comes.
That was
Here it
rock
comes.
solid.
All right.
That brings me to another rematch that's been a long time coming. Anthony LaRusso versus Kenny Payne. The rivalry between both of these characters is one of the best in the entire show, if not the best. Not just that, but it's more of a matter between both of their families at this point. The gist of it is that Anthony LaRusso has been bullying the heck out of Kenny Payne. Could it finally be time for him to get revenge? Back in the 4th season, Kenny actually went up to Anthony and straight up told him now it's his turn to suffer as soon as high school starts. This entire thing has been delayed, and there's not a lot of that action in the 5th season. So I really hope that in the final season, they finally get to duke it out. But it makes sense that they decided to drag this one out. I mean, they are doing a pretty good job setting things up for the next generation of fighters. While there isn't really anyone who's on the good side, at least not in this situation, there's no denying that finally seeing an end to it with a fight would be amazing.
On a regular basis, if you ask where I am, and I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving right now. I'm like walking out my door.
I'm on my way.
I'm already driving, and I'm like,
Speaking of fitting ends, the fans need some closure with Johnny Lawrence versus Kim Da-eun. Here's another fight that just cannot be avoided and has already been set up, along with being that one fight that could decide the future of Cobra Kai itself. No one wants Kim to be in charge of its future, and Johnny and Daniel are going to make sure that does not happen. I mean, you can't really blame them either. She's trying to keep the violent ideologies of Cobra Kai alive. Clearly a villain. Not just that, but she's obviously going to try and make life hell for everyone else until she makes her grandfather's teachings known. There is a high chance that the upcoming season could potentially head in that direction. I mean, how else are they going to bring about an ending that fans love?
Just like these kind of like rods that were hanging from the ceiling holding like 5 black curtains.
And circling back on how the actors do most of their own stunts.
Plus, you can't forget about the fact that it's going to be nothing short of epic. Another rematch that's bound to get everyone riled up is Sam LaRusso versus Tori Nichols. There isn't a single person out there who doesn't want this fight to happen, more eagerly than almost any other fight in the show. In fact, they've almost hated each other for most of the 5th season, opening up a chance to put that entire debacle to the rest. That too with a clear winner right in front of you. The two got to know each other on a much more personal level as they talked about their lives.
Good. Now right hand stays on. You're going to kind of transfer to the hand. You spin to you.
And Nichols even helped everyone take down Cobra Kai. But that surely doesn't mean that they've let all of their differences go. So there is a chance that they could have more issues that could lead to a big fight later on. Though they're probably going to figure things out for sure after that. You've already seen that happen with Miguel and Robbie, so it's pretty likely. But that's not all. A fight between them would also be a great way of finally putting the All Valley tournament issue to bed. I'm hoping that Season 6 puts a good ending on that entire debacle, especially considering how it's been going on in the 5th season. Not only would that be pleasing to fans out there, but it would also bring about a good end to their character's arc.
Moment right now, it's kind of a repeat in the sense of the magic of Karate Kid, and it's back and it's continuing. It's amazing. It's really a kind of a miracle. And
especially with Tori being accused of being bribed by Silver. But that is far from the most intense rematch on the list. You also have Chosen versus Mike Barnes. While it's true that both of them have nothing against each other, in fact, there hasn't been a single moment in which you might have thought that they have beef against one another. But there is no denying that a fight between two of the most iconic villains, at least in the Karate Kid universe, would be absolutely bonkers. Everyone thought that Chosen was the strongest fighter that Cobra Kai has ever had.
It's always fun when you bring back these characters that, we were kids doing this. That dynamic is just, it's so special because
that is until he came up against Barnes, with Barnes going against all expectations and even matching the same level of skill that Chosen has. But unfortunately, the show didn't let that fight go on for too long, and there still isn't a clear winner of the title of the strongest fighter, at least not in Cobra Kai. If a fight between them does happen in the upcoming season, it could lead to Barnes being the 4th sensei of the dojo. That is, if he manages to defeat someone as terrifyingly skilled as Chosen. But that's not all. I mean, who can deny that it's an absolutely incredible fight that just needs to happen? Plus, who doesn't want to see two of the villains from the franchise making a comeback? That too in a fight against one another. It's certainly something that would take the last season of the show to a completely different level, bringing an even better conclusion to an incredible story. Those are some rematches that need to happen in Cobra Kai Season 6. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.